Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. In this week's market update, I want to check out the big three, as well as discuss EOS and Tron mainnet launch. Now, last week Bitcoin was trading at around 7,300, and we had this longer term log trend line. We hit it almost to the dollar, and we've had a strong bounce, a bit of decreasing volume, but there's been a few big news events recently as well. So obviously, last week we couldn't do a detailed market update. We were on the road with the Blockgrain team. That was a fantastic event, a great presentation. Thanks to everyone that attended and watched that live on Facebook. It's on our free public Facebook page if you want to check out that presentation, guys. But they're having the world's fairest token sale. No bonuses, no gimmicks. Make sure you're following them on Twitter to keep up to date with all the latest news. But some big headlines out this week. The Visa outage. So are we ready to go to this cashless society? A number of countries trying to phase out, high denomination notes. But look what happens. We live our lives day to day day to day, going to the supermarket, shopping online. What happens when our online banking system goes down? We're not prepared for this. Hacking and cyber crime is going to be a theme we continue to see play out, and it just bodes well for cryptocurrencies and those secure, decentralized ledgers. Now, in Australia today, Australia's largest bank being fined $700 million for failing to report $10,000 plus deposits. So this is a breach of the AUSTRAC laws. Again, it just bodes well for blockchains, transparency, cryptocurrencies. The Banking Royal Commission continues to unveil, corruption in the Australian banking sector. Some very popular videos we've done this week, guys. Diversifying your super into crypto and metals. Paul talks about, how the economic expansion is one of the longest in history, and is there a correction coming in stock markets? Part 2 of OTC orders. I know we're getting a lot of questions about how the OTC Bitcoin markets work and affect price. And obviously it was a pleasure in Brisbane to launch that as the world's first crypto-friendly airport with, every shop in the Brisbane International Airport now accepting a number of cryptocurrencies, guys. So very friendly for tourists as well. And I really want to see Australia stamp itself as a crypto capital. Now, this is a must-watch talk. Andreas Antonopoulos, 5 years on since he first wrote The Internet of Money. Now, just listening to him talk gets me very excited about the future of cryptocurrency, decentralization, scaling, all those things, guys. Absolute must-watch. That 40 minutes will fly by. But getting back to the price, what do we see now? So we've had some good sort of macro news that's pushed the price up a little bit, bouncing off that trend line. But the volume decreasing is what we tend to see, as we mentioned last week, when we get in these equilibrium patterns. So I'm expecting us to chop around, and a lot of people are sort of talking about this 6th of each month being a turning point, guys. I don't put too much weight in this. By the time everyone realizes something like this, it normally isn't the case the next time, once everyone's positioned themselves accordingly or expecting something to happen. So look, we do have our cycle brackets bottoming on the 6th, 7th here. So look, maybe we get a bit of a push up. I'm actually thinking we pull back a little bit here for the next couple of days, but we're going to stay range bound, I believe, for another week, and then I believe we're going to have a big break somewhere here, and I believe we're going to break to the upside unless we have some really bad news come out. Now, I think there's a US Congress meeting talking about ICOs here. If there was some really bad laws come out, maybe that gives us that decline, but I really don't think we're, breaking through 6,000, the old low here. I think the low's in for now, guys. So I'm leaning towards the upside. That video I made a while back, can Bitcoin reach $1 million? I talk about the Forex reserves and market caps and how much money is washing around the world that can flow into Bitcoin. But I also want to make part 2 of that and talk about, the token economics, supply and demand. What's putting upward pressure on the Bitcoin price? So look forward to that episode soon as well, guys. Another must-watch video that came out this week, Amisa Go and Vitalik, the Ethereum founder, talking about the future of Ethereum and scaling, as well as Amisa Go. So Plasma Cash, sharding, so much to look forward to. They want to scale up and really compete with the banks, as well as rebuilding the entire web to allow for thousands, if not millions, of transactions per second in the future once we have all these layer 1 and layer 2 solutions. Now, last week I tweeted that Ethereum shorts are falling from all-time highs, and there's plenty of room for this to continue. Now, this is what we call dumb money or the herd. So who would really be shorting, guys, when something's already fallen 60%, 70%? That is not the time to be loading up and making bets that something's going to keep falling, okay? The time to do that was up here when we're at all-time highs. So this is dumb money, people that shouldn't be using leverage. And that's why we see some big green candles here as those shorts get liquidated and really put upwards pressure on the price. So look, both Bitcoin and Ethereum are just tagging that 20-day moving average here. We've got that long-term, downtrend here to push through as well. So a bit more chop as well for Ethereum, but there's still a record amount of shorts left to burn. I'm just expecting sideways action this week, guys, as we let the RSIs cool off and that big break that's coming in the coming weeks. Litecoin, we spoke about this would outperform in percentage terms. So look, we had the long-term support here at about $110. Again, we tagged that almost to the dollar. Bitcoin's up about 10%. Litecoin's up around 15% there off the low. So we expect Litecoin to outperform in percentage terms to the upside. Again, it's just tagged as 20-day moving average. It's probably just going to cool off here, trade sideways as we expect, and then that big break coming in the next few weeks, guys. We've got a few swing trades on at the moment, but I want to talk about the mainnet launch. So EOS had a successful mainnet launch, and look, there was a lot of hype leading into it. We had a decent sized pullback. One of the things I said to our members in our premium group was expect some FUD leading up to the mainnet launch, and that's exactly what we got with those rumors of bugs, and EOS came out and said, look, we're having a bug bounty. This isn't a big deal. But a lot of people sort of holding their breath to wait and see how this played out. And it was successful, and we've got a big green candle, 20%, 25, 30% there, guys. So look, well done to EOS. It remains to be seen how this is going to play out with the 21 block producers. I'll cover that in more detail in the future, guys. But that's very different to what we saw compared to Tron. So I think there's a number of projects that are going to be launching on top of EOS very soon. There's a great little project in Australia, Emanate, I'll be covering. We continue to meet great projects as we travel the country. But Tron was a little bit different here. So Tron, has a history of hype. Now, yes, they've got a lot of money. Expect a lot of marketing from them. The fact is, guys, copy and pasting your white paper is not the sort of projects that I look for. So money flows to where it's treated best. Respect your capital. A few of those core messages that I continue to repeat. And a project that continues to have announcements, and copying and pasting the white paper. I think there's so many better platforms out there. Doesn't mean that this one can't continue to get hyped and have a huge run up in price. But I think there's better projects and platforms out there, guys. So, I think Neo is going to be huge going forward. VeChain has now got a project launching on top of it. NEM, once they launch Catapult, are going to have more and more ICOs on top. So a number of good platforms competing with Ethereum and EOS. I think Bitcoin's going to remain the king of cryptocurrencies, and I think Ethereum's going to remain the king of platforms, but they're going to lose their dominance as these other platforms start to have projects built on top of them that work best for their project. What blockchain is best for your project, the attributes that you need. So a theme I'll continue to talk about in the future, speed versus security versus decentralization, and how all these different blockchains work and what's best for what. But for the time being, guys, I think we're just going to chop around and have a pretty sideways week, but that big break is coming, guys, in the coming weeks, guys. So thanks for tuning in. Please hit like, subscribe if you haven't already, share these videos around, and as always, thanks for tuning in, guys. Cheers.